What's up? It's a hard fan show with the People's Coach Cornelius Cole, and it's brought to you by Sports for America. Shout out to Nerd Focus Energy Drink. Uh, get your brain right and your game tight with Nerd Focus Energy Drink. Man, a lot of different things that happen, people. Uh, start with Jake Paul. Jake Paul, the internet sensation, uh, fighter, boxer, got in the ring. I guess finally against started his boxing career with 6-0 or whatever. Seen him met his match with Tommy Fury, the brother of Tyson Fury. So he lost on a split decision. He lost on a split decision. I don't know if you can call that a true loss, but I will say that big ups to Jake. Found a way to make that bread, found a way to do different things to build his brand. Uh, you know, uh, the words was out. Critics was heavily saying that he never fought anybody, and now I guess he got in there against a real boxer. He was knocking out ball players, football players, basketball players, whatever. He was knocking out whatever. So then he finally get in there against a boxer. Start and he loses on a split decision. And as a fan of boxing, that's one of the things I never understood. The split decision. I mean, unanimous is unanimous, but the split decision. Um, is there a little bias there sometimes when you get a split decision? Because how can three people, three judges watch the same fight and come up with a split decision where two on the stage and then one not? What did the one see that gave the fight to Jake? Or that said that Jake was ahead when clearly he was outpunched, he was outboxed, um, not only by power punches, by overall punches and landing of punches. So I wonder what the other. I would like to talk to that judge and see what you saw that made you sway towards Jake Paul when the other two judges saw it the other way as the straight up win for Tommy Fury. It was a good fight though. I only saw the highlights of the fight. I didn't watch the fight. I don't feel like it was worth a pay per view. Like I said, but that's where boxing is at now. We watching it. We talking about an internet sensation, a dude that blew up on the internet, like a dude that blew up basically fighting chumps on the internet. That's what we watching. That's the boxing right now. It's terrible. And speaking of fighting, look at MMA, the MMA fighters. The UFC bringing that back with Conor McGregor saying he getting ready to fight again. Um, aren't we tired of that guy? Same guy over and over. He draws a crowd. I guess that's what it's about. We're saying, but I don't think it's going to be a good fight. And then they got some kind of contest going on, where these fighters have other fighters that they training or bringing up or whatever under the umbrella. And then it's going to be a every man for himself type thing. But really and truly, um, I get it. You try to bring some excitement to your stuff, but we need marquee fights. We need better fights. I'm not slighting Jake Paul. Like I said, I commend him for blowing up the way he blew up. But when you get in there against worthy opponents, and those that didn't see him on that Bomani Jones show where they went at it about whether Jake Paul was a real boxer or now, or whether he would, um, and Jake Paul kind of lost his cool um, trying to defend himself. But the truth of the matter is, a fighter is a fighter. If you got it in you, you got it in you. We've seen the best of the best, then we've seen the lameness. Now, when I say lameness, I'm talking about in terms of um, real competitive fights. When we gonna see some competitive, turn it back to a competitive sport. Now, when you go split decision, that's competitive. All that just means that the other guy just didn't have it in him to knock the guy out or whatever, and it goes the distance or whatever. Like sometimes you can just have a hard jaw and go the distance. That don't mean you really put up any resistance. So I just look at it both ways. But anyway, interesting stuff as far as the NFL as well. Shout out brand. Check out Fam Brand Clothing and Fam Brand at IG. Um, but the NFL offseason, they still going through things. Bienemy touchdown in Washington, and as soon as he get there, Carson Wentz is out. So my thing is, where is that going to put Carson Wentz? Uh, is he going to is a team gonna snatch him up? It's probably gonna be a team that's gonna pick Carson up too. That's what's crazy about it. It's like some people get more chances than others, and there might be a coach out there that say, "Hey, you know what? This guy has built up a body of work that he just needs the right coaching situation." Is that it for Carson Wentz? Does he need the right coaching situation, or is his confidence lost? Me personally, I talked about it before on the show. I think his confidence is shot. I just think his confidence is done. I think Carson Wentz is one of those that, he was hot. He had a couple of hot years. Sometimes that happens and then you're done. It's like in a lot of things, like I'm not going to say a one hit one, but something similar to a one hit wonder where you had some highlights and then it's over. It's over for you like that. But Carson Wentz, decent player in the beginning, but you never really got to see what he did. So it's always that what if Carson Wentz never got hurt on that Super Bowl run that Philly made, and Nick Foles beat Brady? Would Carson Wentz have beat Brady? That's a stimulate your mind moment right there. Since I incorporate both of my shows. Rich, by the way, check out Stimulate Your Mind every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Tuned in radio, iHeart, Apple Music, WDRB Media. So, Wentz, done or not? In my opinion, he's done as a starter, unless he's a backup, and then somebody in this starter gets injured. But I don't see a team. I don't really see a team really gambling on him big time. The other NFL news that I want to talk about is Tampa Bay. What are they playing? Like, what are they playing at quarterback? The GOAT retired. They quarterback. So, what is Tampa waiting on? Like, and they playing their cards close to the vest. They ain't showing their cards. They ain't showing nobody what they doing. They just sitting back, just waiting. You ain't heard no rumors about who Tampa Bay's looking at. Does Derek Carr have a chance? Are they waiting to see? Are they going to pursue Aaron Rodgers if he's available? I mean, they haven't said anything. Garoppolo, or are they going to try to go up in the draft to get somebody? They just really not playing their cards. And I'm wondering what cards they got to play to go up in the draft if they were to try to move up in the draft to get a quarterback. Because that you expect the quarterbacks in the draft to go Swift. Projected Bryce Young, number 1, CJ Stroud 2, Will Levis 3. And then after that, they saying Richardson is somewhere in there, late, top 10, but maybe eighth or ninth or something going in those rounds. But you're looking at all of the best quarterbacks to be taken. So Tampa, what are they going to do? Like, how they go? Are they going for a full rebuild? And I don't think they should go for a full rebuild, because I still think they got something. Move a few pieces on defense, get you a decent quarterback. You got 2 good wide receivers. You got a decent tight end. Your offensive line, they should come back healthy. You should have some moves to make, unless you're taking a trade pieces. I mean, the biggest piece that you have to trade if you Tampa on the offensive side is Mike Evans. I mean, you put him on the market, everybody gonna be after him, hands down. Like because any team could use a wide receiver of his caliber, one of the best to ever do it. I just wonder about Tampa Bay, what they're going to do at the quarterback position, because they've been real secretive about theirs, which is probably smart in this climate. Todd Bowles didn't look all that good as a head, look better with another quarterback. Not to say that, you had the GOAT, so I don't know what you can do after the GOAT, but maybe you get somebody younger, more mobile, get somebody in there that can, communicate receivers that's going to be there from start to finish. Maybe that's what you're looking for, because it was clear for a while Tom's head wasn't in the game. But you find somebody with head in the game, I think Tampa Bay will be another tough team down in the NFC South. We see what the Carolina Panthers are doing. They putting out a full push. They looking at interviewing, Derek Carr. That's an option. And I repeat again, people, I don't know why Derek Carr is still an option. I said that last week. I'm starting to sound like a broken record. I don't know why he's such a hot commodity right now. But, like, if you can't get Aaron Rodgers, then, like I said, I would take Garoppolo. But nobody's talking about Garoppolo. I guess it's too early with the injuries. I mean, Garoppolo would be something to think about as an injury. The Lamar still out there. Him and the Ravens still ain't come to no agreement. It's still teeter-tottering on which way that situation is gonna go. But I'm thinking it's teetering towards him staying in Baltimore at this point. If they ain't made a move already, they ain't tagged them. They ain't made a decision. That means they still trying to work things out, hoping that they can go into those things. Or they gonna wait till the deadline to make a decision. I mean, who knows? Other things that I was looking at was, I saw people saying, like it's not a big deal, but Galladay finally got cut for the Giants. The Giants need receivers. So if Mike Evans was to become available, that'd be a good move. That'll be a good move for the Giants. Heck, it'd be a good. I said it last week. It'll be a good move for my Cowboys, which my Cowboys always making the news about the quarterback that we are with Dak extension. An extension. We look not worried about an extension for Dak or maneuvering money for Dak or whatever. Man, look, either he gonna be the starter or he not. And if he gonna be the starter, then if you want to extend him now, that's cool. But why we looking ahead when we should be looking at one season? I mean, sometimes it just bewilders me at what becomes a story and the narratives that tend to be pushed. It's like it's no urgency there to do anything with Dak right now. That's just my opinion. But what I know, I'm just a diehard fan. Shout out Fancy Lips Cosmetics. You like organic makeup supplies, hit up fancylips.com. Um, NBA, man. Well, before I get into the NBA, the combine. So the NBA combine is going on. Certain quarterbacks, like Bryce Young, said he wasn't going to participate. He was going to wait till pro days. And I want to talk about the difference between the NBA combine and pro days. It's like, why not go to the NFL combine and show off your skills versus waiting for a pro day? Why would you wait for a pro day? It's like colleges have those pro days, but you got everybody there at the NFL combine. You got all the majority of the GMs, you got majority of the scouts, you got all these people that you can show your stuff to, but you're gonna wait for a pro day. I get it. It brings light to the school that you represent. I mean, that's really all I see out of it, other than, because it's like the spotlight is there for you to have. But, and then certain players saying they're not going to work out at the combine. They're just going to do the medical stuff, and the measurements and all that. But it's like, show up, show out. It's about positioning yourself for the best position. You never know. You clown at the combine, then you might get on. Like pro days don't always work out for quarterbacks. I think sometimes when you wait for the pro day, you really miss your chance to show your stuff. But with Bryce Young being selected, we're already being tied being the number one overall pick. I think he is in the bag for him either way. But I'm just saying some of the other players that be like, I'm waiting for the pro day. If you ain't Bryce Young, you should be at the NFL combine. That's just my opinion. I say the spotlight is bigger there. The focus is there. It's a lot of people gonna show their stuff. I heard CJ Stroud, he gonna throw. He gonna do his thing if he hasn't already done his thing. And the biggest news that I saw was the NFL promoting women within the organizations, women assistant coaches, getting women coaches more involved. Like they said, they had a big turnout as far as women at the combine putting in work. So good shout for that. And more women officials, things like that. It's big moves, and credit to the NFL for showing some diversity. In a male-dominated field, all the players are male. Like most, all the head coaches, so letting the assistant coaches, those trends and saying that, hey, a lot of people can train and teach the H's and O. I mean, the X's and O's and stuff like that. Big up to the NFL for doing anything on that. Now the NBA, Quin Snyder is going to be the coach of the Atlanta Hawks. Excuse me, the Hawks. Now, why would they be the coach of the Atlanta Hawks? Like, why? Without even 5 years, he signed a 5-year deal, and hasn't coached in a while. He coached Utah Jazz, getting bounced like first, second round, never really made it real far. I don't know what he's going to do to Atlanta, who was just in the Eastern Conference. I was just talking about them last week with the Nate McMillan move. And then this week they go and get Quin Snyder. Snyder is known for for being high on the analytics side of things. So maybe that's what they're looking at. Maybe and maybe it'll make sense. Maybe they'll start. Maybe they'll turn it around, pick it up, start getting some wins. I mean, they winning and they playing pretty decent, but they not what the Atlanta Hawks should be with all the talent that they have on their roster. Like I said before, and not just them. Since the All Star break, teams that I thought that were gonna make moves, they go in the opposite direction. I've personally gotten to watch 3 straight games of the LA Clippers, and all 3 they lose. And what I've seen is the chemistry's off. It's not just Russell Westbrook; it's all of them. The load management catch up with that squad or whatever because they're not looking like they're in the effort. A team like the Clippers expected, who I picked to win it all or to be in the championship from the West to represent the West. What I don't see is that fight, not even in Kawhi Leonard. I see sometimes watching the games, them going through the motions, them looking lost at times. And then last night's game, it was just a bunch of turnovers. I mean, they had over 25, almost 30 turnovers in a game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. After they played a decent game to fight back, rally back, and get in the game and send it to overtime, and then losing in overtime, like I said, overtime against Denver. Which Denver's looking, man, Denver is looking like that team. I said I still don't know, postseason wise, but right now Denver looking like that team to beat out there in the West. The Joker, what can you say about him? Watching the Joker, like watching unorthodox thing you ever seen. I mean, he's not fast. He's not really shifty. He's not really. I mean, his skills are just basic skills. He boxes, like basic go up for the rebound. I mean, fundamentally he's sound, but as far as skill wise, man, he's a great passer. I mean, this dude is great without really putting on a show like a Kyrie or a Dame Lillard. We're just gonna get to Dame Lillard in a minute with the 71 points. The whole time, man, y'all give 7 points. I mean, Dame did his thing, but he was shooting from like half court. Like I don't know, Dame was on it. He was playing extraordinary ball against the Houston Rockets. But back to the Clippers, like man, they better pick it up or they're gonna drop way down. I mean, luckily for them, the Mavericks not doing well. Phoenix tonight, Phoenix get to play against Phoenix get KD. So you get the first look at Phoenix with KD. I'm sure a lot of eyes gonna be on that tonight to see what they actually do, to see how good Phoenix can potentially be with that talent. But we'll see what's gonna pop as far as all these all these moves that's been made, how they really panning out. The Westbrook move, I'm not gonna say that it's been a bad move because Westbrook, he actually been playing decent from the games that I've seen. And then, put him on the bench when they need to, but what I've seen is the Clippers overall just don't seem like they have good chemistry right now. They don't seem like, before the All-Star break, it looked like they was shaping up or something, but I don't know what's happened. But it seemed like nobody really enthusiastic. Like they should be one of the best defensive teams in the league. And you saw they gave up 176 points to the Kings. They scored 175, but they gave up 176. That was a whole lot of points. But in just those games, it's like what have they been doing? The Bucs on a 15-game winning streak, like they might not lose again the way they play it. I mean, Giannis doing his thing. Drew Holiday done picked it up. Chris Middleton, when he does play, right now they managing him, but when he does play, it look like the Bucs coming with it. Jay Crowder, like I said, looked like he a good fit for them. Hit some key buckets the other night to help them win when Giannis didn't play. They able to win with Giannis, without Giannis. I'm looking at the Bucs like, oh, Celtics gonna have some on their hands. It's like, I don't know, it's a 2-team. They trying to say 3-team. They keep trying to throw Philly in there. This is what I seen with Philly. I see Embiid playing, going all out all the time. I see the lax the lacks to me is on the defensive end, and like I said, the inconsistency of Tobias Harris. If Harris give you 15, if he give you 15 points every night, Philly should be unstoppable. But he give you 20 one night, then 2 the next night. He just he not consistent enough to really help that team. Maxey is consistent. James Harden, as far as being a facilitator of the basketball, man, he doing his thing. As far as being a point, he doing what he do. His shot not really what James Harden's shot normally is. I see him miss key shots here and there, or open shots that you think that the old James Harden would knock down. But that's not a big deal. The problem really is effort sometimes from the rest of the people out there. The role players on Philly is going to hurt them in the long run, because Embiid is in the game. Never knock that. Now, I do think that he's a clown every now and then, but it seems like he's done some maturing and he's ready to step into that role as a true leader on the squad. And speaking of leaders on the squad, Jimmy Bucket and the Heat look like they picking it up now. Look like they ready to make their little playoff run. The Heat turning up the heat a little bit. They coming with it now. And I'm gonna take a moment and talk about Giannis. So-called taking shots at KD, talking about come work out with me instead of jumping from team to team. I think they blow things out of proportion. Social media really blows stuff out of proportion. It was a joke on the Daily Show. That's what it was meant. It was meant to be funny. It wasn't meant to be taken literal or real serious. But people, and fans of KD, they was going for Giannis's neck and all this stuff. But Giannis told the truth. As far as like how people see things sometimes. Now, I'm not gonna say my problem that I've had, and I'm mentioning this on the show before, but my problem that I've had as far as being a fan and watching is what people call super teams and all this. Man, I'm myself this. What what's a super team? For me, it's no such thing as a super team. And the reason why I say it's no such thing as a super team, like take KD. He went to the Golden State Warriors and they became a better team. The Warriors was already good. And he probably helped them win 2 more championships, but they was gonna win the championships anyway. But here's the thing: the super team talk of a super team. Man, look, Dennis Rodman went to the Chicago Bulls and and made a whole impact. So did that make them a super team? Like they already had Jordan and Pippen, who were both drafted there, like Steph and Clay, and they even had Draymond over there. But what I'm saying is did that make them a super team? I mean, like the changing of the guards, Steve Kerr, but when they got Rodman, what happened when they got Rodman? Like Rodman, 5 times, like he led the league like 5 straight years or something in rebounding and stuff like that. But did that make them a super team? I mean, all the talk of super teams just annoys me sometimes, because Phoenix, you can call that a super team or stacking the deck or whatever, but it's not really. I mean, if you want to consider a super team as in all these people come from different places, maybe one person was there and then you bring in all these other, doesn't make it a true super team. I just wonder why we keep pushing those narratives that but KD doing what's best for his career. If he feel like that's the best way for him to win, he obviously wants to win. He says he just wants to play ball, but he could have played ball. He could have stayed at OKC if he wanted to just play ball. It's about winning deep down inside with him, and he's doing whatever it takes to win. I still don't think Phoenix gonna win nothing, so I'm not even worried about him being being a super team or whatever. I think him and Booker gonna be fun to watch for the rest of the regular season. But I think when the defense get tight in the postseason, they're gonna shut Booker down. So I said that last week, but just to reiterate my point, the super teams, because it's like, what if? It's a lot of what ifs that you could say. Like, what if Kobe Bryant was, what if he stayed with the Hornets? What if the Lakers never traded for him when he was drafted? Remember, he was drafted by the Hornets. Would Kobe have 5 rings as a Charlotte Hornet? I mean, if he never teamed up with Shaquille O'Neal, like if they never brought him there, if Phil Jackson never went to the Lakers or whatever, would Kobe have rings if he would have stayed with the Charlotte Hornets? I don't think so, because we see the Hornets ain't got no rings. So I don't think they would have put pieces around them just because of one person. I think sometimes you just in the right situation. Kobe was definitely in the right situation that he was traded for Vlade Divac. In my opinion, the Lakers won in that deal all day. You know what I'm saying? And it was able to do what was right for their team. But all this talk about KD chasing rings and stuff, man, the game is about rings. That's what the game is about. And more they were talking about, I actually saw Charles Barkley when he said it, as far as what he said in regards to the players nowadays with the load management and all this stuff. And then, his comments about KD basically having the lead. Man, look, play whatever role you got to play. In a team game, I don't know about all this. I know it's certain leaders. Don't get me wrong. It's certain leaders that we always look at, and they leaders. KD ain't never been a leader. I said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. That's not his job. His job ain't to lead. His job is just to get buckets. He can get buckets. I mean, and that's what he good at. Like, if you got leaders, you saying Chris Paul is a leader. You saying it was Devin Booker's team. You saying Monty Williams is a good coach, and this. So bring KD on and just say get buckets. When he was in Golden State, everybody knew that Steph was the leader of the team. Everybody knew that Clay, and Draymond, they that nucleus, and then and all he had to do was get what KD saying, put right team, we can go out here and I can get these buckets and we can win. I mean, I think the man just want to win. So I cut him some slack in that respect. No, you don't expect everybody to be like a Charles Barkley. I mean, Barkley got the right to talk because he did lead teams. Like, he led a team to the finals. He carried them to the finals on his back. Like, team did what they had to do, but he did what he had to do. Like, as a role, that's your role on the team. Whatever your role is on the team, that's what's expected of you. So sometimes it's not always being that lead guy. And we know KD is not a leader. We know he's a silent guy. He's not the type to get in people's face. Lead that to Chris Paul. Lead that to the head coach and stuff like that. And a lot of times, I look at things like, you go back to the San Antonio Spurs when they won their first championship. They call they would call it Avery Johnson the floor general. They was calling him the general or whatever. He played with the Admiral, David Robinson and stuff. But we knew it was David Robinson's team. David Robinson was the leader, but we call this other guy the general. Man, it really doesn't matter. Then Tim Duncan come along, and then they're able to put it all together. They're able to win. So it's about playing your role. It's about doing what you have to do. Step aside, let the next man get light. I think that's the problem with the Dallas Mavericks right now, is that Kyrie not out there to be a floor general. He want to get just as many buckets as Luka and all this stuff, but somebody to play off somebody. Somebody got to sit back. When I'm saying the what ifs, what if Pippen never was traded to the Chicago Bulls on draft day? What if he'd have stayed with the Seattle Supersonics then, which is now the OKC franchise, for those that don't know? But what if he was to stay with the Seattle Supersonics? Would Mike have 6 rings? Everybody always say Mike never won without Pippen. With 6 rings, is right to those things. It's like, yo, we can what if all day. There's plenty of ways to look at it. Certain people know their roles. Certain people know what they was expected of them, and they live up to the bill. Kevin Durant is a Hall of Famer, hands down. He done enough already, and he got 2 rings, whether you like it or not, whether fans like it or not. Take it from a diehard fan. The man played. He's behind off when he does play, whether he comes up short with it. Now, do I think that it was a disappointment what happened with Brooklyn, because you expected Kyrie to light them up, and they did light them up like you thought they would. But they were on a pace to light them up, and their injuries happened. So And you could say, what if Kyrie was healthy? Would the Bucks have a championship right now? I mean, I think Giannis was going, well, maybe he would have lost that game 7. Nah, I don't know. I think Giannis was going to figure out a way then or now. Giannis going to figure out. People will wait and see. Giannis will get, in my mind, Giannis going to get a couple of more rings, at least 1 or 2 more rings before it's all said and done for him, being the best basketball player on the planet. Yes, I still think he's better than the Joker. Yes, I think he's better than Embiid. I just think his effort is different than those guys. Because one thing I saw, like, here's the craziest thing: I'm watching ESPN, and uh, at the bottom of the little ticker, it comes across where it's showing the Nuggets the won a game, and it's showing the Joker's numbers. But then it flashes real quick. See, they try to change the narrative, and all of a sudden he can play defense. Oh, um, he held the Clippers or whoever that team was they played against 0 for 4 when he was guarding whatever going in the fourth quarter and whatever. 4 shots, man. That ain't enough defense, bro. See, they try to steer the narrative different directions sometimes when you watch these major media outlets and stuff. They try to steer the narrative any way they want to. I'm looking at that and I'm like, that's the most ridiculous thing I ever seen. Because you said he played defense and somebody took 4 shots. It's like, yo, 0 for 4. Like, that's nothing. It's like, we know this guy can't play defense. We know the Joker can't play defense. We seen them get done. We seen Anthony Davis doing bad, and y'all gonna see when the playoffs start. Other people gonna do them bad, but it's hard to stop the Joker though. I was watching the Clippers struggle with trying to stop him. Granted, they didn't have Zubac that night, but I don't even think Zubac can do anything with him because if he steps out at 12 to 17-foot range or point range, then Zubac not gonna be able to do nothing with him. Maybe close to the basket, Zubac will be a little bit more effective. But what I look at is overall the narratives and stuff that we try to put out there. I can't believe the nerve of people, but the NBA is getting exciting. Teams are picking up they play. The Knicks are on a win streak. They a 6-7 game win streak after I dogged them. So it looked like the Jalen Brunson trade is paying off a little bit. It's looking like, but what they gonna do what is New York gonna do in the postseason? Because the New York fans, I know they thirsty for some kind of success in the playoffs. Like even if they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, which I don't see that happening, but or at least make it to the second round and give push teams to 7 and stuff like that. I think that'll be a step up for the Knicks. But I'm liking what the Knicks are doing. I'm liking the chemistry that they building, and I'm liking what they're doing when they have to turn up the defense. Man, they put the clamps on and they start playing, but they got what the Clippers supposed to have. You're supposed to be able to just to switch every man and not have to double team and things like that. So the Knicks doing what they got to do to put themselves in there. I think they moved up to like the 5th spot or something, 5th or 6th spot over there. So they coming up, they rising, but no teams really dipping. Like Cleveland ain't dipping. Like I said, the Heat. Now these teams starting to turn it up. So it's gonna be interesting in the lower parts of the playoff brackets and stuff like that. And unfortunately, Zion is supposed to be done. We'll see if systems are going. That you know, um, LaMelo Ball got hurt again. I mean, poor Charlotte as far as like trying to figure out. I mean, he's another one of those that seems to be injury prone because he's been hurt a lot. Like LaMelo hurt again, man. Broken foot, out for the season. Done. Ain't his brother out for the season too? Lonzo Ball out for Chicago for the season too with a knee. It seems like not to be funny or nothing, but really when you think about it, what's his name, LeVar Ball, instead of that talk that he be doing about how good his sons is and how what he raised and all that stuff, man. Hey man, conditioning, training, because now Melo was out for the left foot and now he out for the right foot. Now he broke his right foot. So it's just bad problems. But wish him a speedy recovery because the young man is a highlight reel when he does play. He does put on a show. Sometimes that's what it's about. He's very entertaining when he plays. But I like him. I like what he has going on. I really wish he was. I really wish Charlotte was competitive. We ain't talking about how competitiveness as far as a team or the lack of effort as far as a team goes. But LaMelo is something special to watch. Excuse me. and other things as far as the Lakers, they taking another turn. Got to talk about the Lakers a minute. LeBron's foot. We talking about foot injuries, and LeBron has one now. So, um, man, that really. I didn't think the Lakers were going anywhere. I said it plenty of times, but I didn't want them to go out like this. But it seemed like Bron got what Kobe had coming down the stretch at going towards the end of his career, where it's like, man, I'm pushing, and I'm playing my tail off to try to get the team there, to get the team to reach a certain height, and but you hurting yourself in the long run. You breaking yourself down, your body breakdown and stuff like that. It's unfortunate because I said I rather see, as me being an opposer of LeBron, I would like to just see him get beat. I would like to just see them get beat. I don't want to see nobody get hurt, and then they team out of there. I just want to see the Lakers lose. But it's unfortunate that he's gonna be out a couple of weeks or whatever, which is probably gonna put an end to the playoff run. But you never know. Anthony Davis, man, people we sleep on Davis, but if Davis is healthy, he's pretty good because Davis. We got to keep in mind, Davis did carry. Um, he did carry the Pelicans when he was on the Pelicans. When he when he was in New Orleans, they made the playoffs a few times. He could make them a fifth, sixth seed or something like that. So Davis can carry a team. It's just that is it going to be enough with the competition going up? But like I said, Dallas is going down. The Clippers are going down. So it's wide open over there in the West as far as like in some of those spots, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Those going to be. I think for the next coming weeks they're going to be rearranged so much. You know. It's going to be a crazy venture. I don't know. Look like because what I saw with the T Wolves without Carl Anthony Towns look like they serious. Anthony Edwards is the real. I mean, that young man can make some moves when he go into the basket. I mean, just watching him. Um, uh, that's another one to really watch and pay attention to. And now Rudy Gobert to figure out where he fits in a little bit with the team as far as being a defender of the rim, moving a little bit better around the perimeter sometimes, and also being a cleanup guy coming in with the offensive rebounds. I think the size. When I look at the size of the T Wolves, I was like, man, I didn't know they was that like they don't play a small lineup. Like all those dudes are pretty big out there on the court, and I saw a guy McLaughlin. He come with a little game. I mean, just different players seem like. They pick it up, and on the defensive end, they really look like real intense about playing defense, or at least what I seen. From what I seen, I really like they coming with it, and not too many teams are playing defense these days. Which again, Dane Lil, 71 points, man, how good he is now. Now the narrative on Dane Lil is great for loyalty, and me and the con man talked about this a couple of weeks ago. As far as is it loyalty or is it money is crazy. I think with Dame, it's just being loyal to Portland and it's just saying that, hey, I can have a career without winning. But here's my thing, and I'm gonna put this out there. We could talk about his Dame time. We can say he did this. They mentioned, Dame took certain people home. He sent certain teams home. He sent Westbrook home. He sent Harden home. All this blah blah blah. But look here, Dame Lillard is going to go down as the best Portland Trailblazer ever in terms of numbers and scoring, but I don't think he's better than Drexler. Remember, Drexler took them boys to the finals, man. Drexler got them boys to the finals. So if Dame don't get them to the finals at least once, then what does that say for Dame? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I think Clyde Drexler, shout out H-Town. I got to represent H-Town. But when you're in H-Town, check out, Drexler's barbecue and stuff like that. I don't know if it's still open, but I know, that used to be the spot. But anyway, Clyde Drexler, man, that guy, he took them to the finals, like Drexler did his thing, and they were tough in the West. They had a tough squad. Like Clyde wasn't no slouch. So all about Dame. I don't think Dame ever made it out of the second round or whatever. But I don't think did Dame make it to the Western Conference Finals? Maybe one time, maybe I don't know. But what I'm saying is when Dame gonna take this to the finals? That's just my question. Like your predecessors. He took them to the finals, and that's what I think. That's what you look at. Sometimes it's not always about winning. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of emphasis on championships, but who don't want to be a champion? I mean, that's the ultimate team goal. But at the same time, you that person, man, you that one. Take your team somewhere. Make your team, bring everybody up around you. Like, and right now, I mean, scoring 71 points does nothing for your team, to be honest. Like, you can score all the points. Like, that's the same thing with MJ. When MJ learned to pass the ball, guess what? His team got better. So I think sometimes you got to start relying on your teammates a little bit more, or maybe get the right teammates that you could trust. Maybe that's what they building in Portland. I don't know, but I want to see Dame. I want to see what Dame can do as far. Actually, I want to see Dame get in the play in. I want to see if he can get in the play in. I want to see if he can ball a little bit and take a team, like get in there and be competitive. Win a spot, earn a spot into the playoffs. I mean, those are the things that I'm looking for. I mean, we make all this hype about the. I like the regular season. We know it leads up to the seeding. It's important and stuff like that. Sometimes I just wonder where it's at when it counts the most. Like, I want to hear that Dame time talk. Send some other people home. You know what I'm saying? And send them home when it really counts. Like, you beat Westbrook. I mean, come on, man. Like, who hasn't beat Westbrook? I mean, Westbrook without KD just hasn't been the same. No matter who you put Westbrook with, ever since him and KD broke up. Westbrook, that was a guy that he drug OKC teams, and I heard Dame say something about that in regards of, Westbrook never should have left OKC. Like, since he left OKC, his stock is, he's went in the toilet. Like, his game ain't the same. He's been trying to fit in on different teams. Remember, he was a Wizard. He was a Rocket, a Wizard. He'd have been to certain, and it just ain't worked out. A Laker, not here. Clip. I'm forgetting the team, but he was on another team. Like, he been on some teams now, and it's just not working out. He becoming a journeyman. A guy that averaged triple doubles for like 2-3 years is a journeyman now. Like, what does that say? And he's only like 31, 32 years old. He the same age as like Kevin Durant or whatever. So he ain't washed. Just something going on. It's like not fitting in with these teams. But if he'd have stayed at OKC, I think if he'd have stayed at OKC, um, they would at least be a playoff team right now. I think him and Gilchrist Alexander, they would have figured out a way to make that work. As far as trading off or doing whatever they have to do. I mean, a young nucleus, but he left there years ago. So it's been, maybe the team. Yeah, I know teams make moves, and you see it's paying off for OKC. I think they're gonna be a team to be reckoned with when they get all their pieces in place and stuff like that. Like, they playing real hard right now, and every week now, I gotta mention the Sacramento Kings. It's unbelievable what they're doing and how they've been able, how they still winning. Everybody's just waiting for them to fall, and they ain't falling. I don't see them falling. I see them being in the playoffs, and I see them not being a pushover. I heard those Laker fans, those that ride with the Lakers, and said, "Oh, Lakers got to get to number 6 so they can go." Because if the Kings stay number 3, they could beat the Kings. They can. Man, stop it. Stop it. You got a team that's playing together against a team that's, just came together or whatever, trying to find a way. Maybe they got decent chances, but I think that if you that team, you got a chance against anybody. The championship teams, that's the one thing. The championship teams, didn't we learn anything from last year's Golden State Warriors? We'll take our show on the road and beat you. We'll beat you in your house, our house, we'll beat you wherever. Like, that's what it takes to be a champion. You got to be willing. It ain't just about, oh, I'm good here and I'm good. No. Oh, I gotta get this matchup. Remember how that worked out for the Clippers a few years ago? And I've mentioned this before. Remember when the Clippers fell down to get, to try to avoid LA, and it came back biting them because LA was, AD was hurt, Ron was hurt. So you could have really took it to that team and probably, avoided what you running into to get beat. But when it happened, they ended up losing. I think they lost to the Denver Nuggets or whatever. But it was like you could have avoided that if you would have just stayed in, if you would have stayed a top team, but you actually tried to fall to avoid playing a team. Now, to me, there's no way to build up a championship team, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm just a fan. So you try to play the matchups, but you got to play the team that's in front of you, and you got to play the schedule that's in front of you, things like that. You can't avoid teams, but you see a lot of them trying to avoid certain teams. Other good games that I saw this past week leading up to today, the Celtics and the Sixers, man, that was a good game. I'm going back to that game because certain things that I saw in that game, it looked like the Sixers was right there, but it looked like the Celtics, they just got another gift for you. They just got the Celtics just got too much firepower and or too much belief in each other. Like it's a team that's very trustworthy. Like they trust each other. Like they don't care who shoots it. At certain points of the game, it's not getting Tatum the ball. It's not getting Brown the ball. Those guys know when to pick and choose and take their shots. But it's about the whole team from Brogdon, Smart. Now my one knock is still Smart, man. Like Smart, I like him, exciting, but he's a character and all that flopping, man. That flopping. I mean, he's too good of a defensive player in my opinion to have to do all that flopping, and then to be getting ticked off when he doesn't get calls and stuff like that. It really takes away from what the Celtics. The Celtics look like a real good team. They almost look like the Celtics are old minus Bird and McHale and stuff like. But they almost look like those Celtics. The way that they share the basketball, the way that they play defense collectively, the way that it's just a whole team. It's a whole uniform team. I appreciate what they're doing out there. And I think they go. I think they're gonna go far. Like I said, I still think the Bucs gonna beat them. I'm looking at the Bucs and the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. If it's not them, I'll be shocked, and I'll be the first one to eat crow on that. But that's who I'm riding with. Uh, but then looking beyond who I'm riding with, the teams that might surprise, I'm not gonna sleep on Cleveland, and I'm not gonna sleep on the Knicks. The reason why I said I'm not gonna sleep on those two teams because the Knicks, once they figure out how to play a little bit more solid defense and sometimes take away some of the wild shots. Most of the wild shots, sometimes he's shooting a lot less this year, but most of the wild shots and stuff are from Julius Randle. Everybody else seems to be playing. I think that when you put the ball, what I've seen with the Knicks is if you put the ball in Brunson's hands, you don't have no problems because he distributes the basketball great. Man, he putting people on. He doing his thing. But then on the defensive end, like I said, they able to switch off a little bit. They able to play defense. RJ Barrett is a good defensive player. Like I didn't know he was going to be that good on defense, but quickly is a good defensive player. They got some good defensive players over there in the New York Knicks. Earning their bones and stuff, so to speak, right now. Really picking up the intensity now. Something must have told them, hey, we can win some games, but they might be a surprise. Now, on the Cleveland side of things, it's just because they got Donovan Mitchell. I think that they'll be a threat because that guy can get hot anytime. And in a 7-game series, all it takes one sometimes, like that one pivotal game. It could come down to that switch. A lot of people say it's the game 5. But like that could be a game 1 or a game, or whatever. Because remember, a few years back, Phoenix against LA, Phoenix against the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals. Just remember that game 1 was the pivotal game where through the inbound on the inbound play, and Aiden with the alley oop on the inbound play over Morris or whoever he got that over. Wasn't really paying attention. Didn't stop that. And that changed that whole thing because remember that series came down to 7, and if the Clippers would have won, it probably wouldn't have went to 7. So you really got to think about sometimes that pivotal game, those pivotal moves. How critical it is to make the right plays at the right time. And with another shout out to Nerd Focus, get your brain right and your game tight with Nerd Focus energy drink. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit, and we're gonna talk about the NCAA real quick because what I'm seeing is wide open. The top 25 is wide open right now. The NCAA top 25 is really looking like it's going to be something. It's really looking like it's going to be something this year. It's going to, like I said, it's going to be different teams, but you got Houston, Alabama, and Kansas at the top right now. And that's a beautiful thing with UCLA coming in 4th and Purdue but those things right there. And then Marquette, what I'm saying? The Baylor Bears at 7, Arizona, the Wildcats at 8, Longhorns at 9, and Gonzaga at 10. So those teams, what you're looking at is this year's bracket is going to be crazy. Like, these tournaments, these conference tournaments are going to be crazy. It's going to be some good basketball coming down the stretch. for certain teams. But what I was really looking at was, like the Tennessee men. You never really expect them to be as good as they are, but they at 12. And then I was just scrolling a little bit further down. Kentucky all the way down at 23. Now Kentucky, when Jerry was on my show, he said that his wild card was Arkansas, but Arkansas been falling off since he said that. But I'm looking at Kentucky. Kentucky could probably run it. I mean, I'm still going Houston Cougars. I think the Houston Cougars, like they got a chance to do it again. So I'm looking at Houston Cougars. They got a chance to, be in the Final Four, be one of them teams that wreck shop. Kansas is always, Jayhawks. You can never count them out, man. Like it's just a good. That's just a good college basketball school. Kansas. I mean, they always pop up here and there. And they always do their thing, and they could always win it all at any given time, or at least compete for it any given time. But yeah, NCAA men's tournament is going to be something to watch. It's going to be something special this year because there's a lot of players that's making their names. And I'm not like everybody. I'm not going to come down too hard on the whole Brandon Miller situation. The police said they didn't find anything. They letting the young man play. I don't see nothing what's wrong with that. If the police say they didn't find anything, then why are people upset with the guy going on with his life? If they did an investigation and they said that it's cool, that he all right, he didn't have anything to do with it. Why should we as a people still put labels on the guy, do different things? Let the young man ball and get his life right. And hopefully the police are right in what they did. Like if you did an investigation and you find them not culpable in the situation, then what are we talking about? Like sometimes we as fans, I think we go crazy. Yeah, I'm talking about the South Carolina fans that went in on the young man. Um, it's really no need for that. Some of that stuff. Like that's real personal. I'm sure somebody lost their cool playing. True enough, like should Alabama have let them play? Man, that's up to their school. They that was all right to you know extra pressure that we add to certain things and getting in the middle of in this show, and I'm gonna talk about the NCAA tournament is nearing, and that means that the NCAA women are going to be balling too. And I always mention it a little bit, but I wanted to finish the show off and say, man, the UConn Huskies. Uh, that's another one of those perennial schools when it comes to basketball. But I want to talk about the UConn Huskies' impact on the WNBA because I've been doing my homework and I've been just looking at stuff. But you go down the list of names, the Lobos, the Sue Birds, the Maya Moores, the Diana Taurasi's, Donna Stewart's. I mean, the list goes on, and I'm talking about them. You realize that they are all champions, not just NCAA champions, but they all WNBA champions. It seems like UConn can't miss when it comes to talent, when it comes to championship grit and championship grind, man. It's like they can't miss. I mean, just think about that. Just think about all those that I named. The majority have been MVPs of the WNBA. Majority of and they all got all the rings. It's like whatever UConn is doing over there, other schools to take notes. And I see South Carolina coming up. Dawn Staley, man, she doing her thing. I like what she doing. I was a fan of Dawn when she balled back in her day. But what I like is her as a coach. Her fortitude and her competitive spirit to actually be that team that want to take UConn out. I like that. All the teams want to take UConn out, but what I'm saying is that she putting together a program that looks like it can rival UConn, and she might be the next up to knock Gino Auriemma off that throne. But what I'm saying is that whatever Gino Auriemma is doing over there, man, he putting a whole bunch of winners in the game, a whole bunch of not just winners, and he putting in the game, and that's something to look at. Like not too many colleges can say that they've done it anything like it. It's like, wow. And I know I missed a couple of names. I think, what's her name? Tina Charles or something. I know she went to UConn. I mean, I'm just saying, it's way more. But the impact of UConn on the WNBA is impressive. It's like, man, is anybody not going to come from UConn that's going to be an MVP? I mean, they so-called star players when they hit that league. I mean, it's just the dominance. The one thing to dominate the college game, but then go on to the pro game too, and still to have those dominant players. I mean, that's impressive to look at. I know a lot of people don't, look at things in those concepts. So like it's probably the first time you hearing something like that, but that's what it's about, being a diehard fan, paying attention to all those things, and to stimulate your mind with a lot of different stuff. But you got all these that are playing great. The young lady from Iowa. Before I get out of here, I tell Caitlin something, man. All I know is she got ball in her blood. Like, she can shoot from anywhere on the court. Like, she got post games, she got outside games. She coming for the WNBA. She gonna be in the WNBA soon. I don't know if it's gonna be this year. I think it's gonna be this next season. Not after this season, but when she's in the draft, she's gonna be great. Just watching some of the players, and just paying attention to what they're doing. Like, she's gonna drag Iowa. They're probably, I don't know, they're gonna probably be Elite Eight, if not Final Four squad. Just what they do is really special. The NCAA, I don't think the NCAA women's tournament is not going to be as wide open as I think the men are going to be. And I say that from a perspective that you're really looking at South Carolina's dominance right now. It looks like South Carolina going to walk away with it. Unless Iowa step up, UConn step up. It's a couple of other teams that, but really, come on. South Carolina look like they're gonna win it again, hands down. They my favorite. They the ones that I'm picking to do it because in my eyes they got the best. They got the best player. She probably won't be the AP Player of the Year this year, but she was last year. So I think they got the best player right now, and I think they got the best squad. They got the best team. They hungry. They play physical. And they play defense, they in your face. I mean, I kind of like what they got going on. So that's going to be interesting to see. And my last few minutes of the show, wow. I like to talk greatness. We talk greatness on this show because, it's always about the championship. What about, what's his name? Djokovic, however you say his name, in this tennis, man. I'm gonna end this show like this. Like, people, look at this guy. 7 years as the number one men's tennis player. 378 weeks. It's 52 weeks in a year, people. So do the math. Over 7 years. If that's not dominant, then what is? As the number one ranked men's tennis player. 378 weeks straight. Djokovic is no joke. You know what I'm saying? Djokovic, however you say his name, he's no joke. Unbelievable, unreal. Like, when I saw the numbers, I knew the guy was good, but I didn't know he was that good. Like, 7 straight years at number one. At number one. It's people to get knock him off. He always had great competition with Rafael Nadal, but Nadal then got old, and it's almost time for retirement. Remember, we was thinking Roger Federer dominated. No, Djokovic is dominating that sport from the men's perspective. I only wish that it was some U.S. men's players that was out there for the money, man. We know the U.S. got to bring tennis back. Like, we gotta get back we gotta get back out there. We gotta do something on the men's side of things. Like we really haven't had much strong since really the Agassi days and the Sampras days, in my opinion. Roddick was all right here and there, but that's about it. But Djokovic, man, hats off to you, man. Salute to that. 7 straight years. Think about it.
at number one. 7 straight years at number one. If that's not impressive, I don't know what is. But as my time is running out, I'm gonna give a shout out. Remember to check me out again, the People's Coach, here on Diehardfan, 8 p.m. every Wednesday. My other platform, check me out on the Stimulate Your Mind show, Tuesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern. Um, wide open, stimulating your mind. You can check me out, WDRB Media. Shout out to Sports for America for putting me on. Um, and another shout out to J&J Professional Services. Check out Canelo. Hit up the things that I represent. Thank y'all for representing. It's a great one.